The whole overview, the history of the Muckleshoot tribe and its reservation. This is written by, if you go to another tab, it has all the authors, all the tribal leaders on the webpage. So we know it's a reliable source. It's written by the very people that live there. So I went to the About Us page and I found this information and then I cited it. So sometimes if you know a piece of information but you don't have an exact source, you have to find one. You can't just assume that it's true. So I had to go in and do that. There's two other sources in here. The next one was the title of the meaning of the name of my town. So the town that I grew up in, Enumclaw, Washington, is from a Salish dialect. And in the Salish dialect, this Native American language, it means the Valley of Evil Spirits. Apparently, because the town was flooded by one of Mount Rainier's eruptions, and or because of the high crosswinds that go over the town and occasionally cause really big storms to hit. Now I knew this from growing up there. Again, this is something I was just told from the time I was a kid. But I had to find a source for it. So, what did I do? I looked up the name of... I looked up my town. I looked up Enumclaw on Wikipedia. And I looked for information on the name, and I found a book right here in the references called Washington State Place Names from Akai to Yelm. And when you click on that link, it opens up a page in the book and it tells you the name of Enumclaw. Okay? So then I cited it. I found the author, I found his name, and it gives me the page number. So then I cited that in my works cited. And so I have this quotation, in quotations, the town's name in the local dialect of the Salish language means, quote, the Valley of Evil Spirits, because it was destroyed by flooding in the 14th century due to Mount Rainier's last eruption. At the end of that sentence, I have in parentheses the author's last name, Brookshire, with a comma, 70, which is the page number. The other parenthesis, and then a period. So that's the in-text citation. So again, if I'm reading this and I want to know where I got this information, I'd say, okay, the author's name is Brookshire. Let's scroll to the end of the essay and look at it. And there they are. They're the first citation. Okay, so if you want more information on how to do in-text citations, I would suggest looking at the tab in the Week 6 module, which is Citation Resources. And it will take you to a couple of links on the Purdue University Online Writing Lab. So this is going to be a great online resource for you for any type of citation. So when you go on to the OWL, as it's known, the Online Writing Lab, on this left-hand side, they have a whole list of information about MLA. So if you're wondering how to format in-text citations, you click on the left-hand side, the MLA in-text citations, the basics. And it gives you this information on how to cite them. So make sure to look over that so you have that information. If you're wondering how to cite a works cited page, you can go to another tab, the Basic Format page. And it has, basic information on the type of, different types of sources and how to cite them. Here's the fundamentals. You can look at them in my essay. For a regular book by one person, this is how you cite it. It goes last name, first name, Brookshire Doug, title of the book, Washington State Place Names, from Alki to Yelm. Notice that the title of the book is in italics. That indicates that it's a book and it's a complete work. You would also put films or albums would be in italics because they're completed works. Then you list the press and when it was published. So Caxton Press, 1993. That's it. That's all you need to cite. Notice that the text is left justified. It's all the way on the left side. And that the second line is indented a line. Everything is double spaced. The works cited page is, wording is centered. But the second line is indented. Okay, what about the online article I used? Okay, so for that one, when I looked at the web page, I couldn't find an author. Now, I know it's a reliable source because it's on the tribe's website, right? It's from the people that are part of this tribe. But there was no author, and there wasn't any date. So, the information I listed is listed a little differently. In that case, we don't have an author, so I put in quotations the title of the page. It's not a completed work. It's not a novel. It's not a whole book. So it's just in quotations. The next part is what is called the container. So if you get an article from CNN or the Muckleshoot tribe, you list in italics the container. So here I have Muckleshoot Indian Tribe is in italics. That's Muckleshoot Indian Tribe homepage. That's the container. After that, I list the URL. And then after that, since there's no date, I put accessed. So accessed February 28, 2019. The access date is there to let the reader know that if they click on the link and it doesn't open or something has changed, then they will understand that maybe this website has been updated or changed or something like that. There's no date on the article, so now you understand, maybe why something has changed. So if you can't find a date, at least list when you accessed it, so the reader has that information. Here's one more. The other citation that I used in this essay was about the American Founding Fathers and how some of them owned slaves, some of them opposed slavery, all that sort of stuff. I found this information on Encyclopedia Britannica, and I found a specific article. It was written by Anthony Iacarino, and so his name is listed first. We have his last name, first name. Here's the title of the article. Quotation, the Founding Fathers and Slavery, end quote. There should be a period right there. Where did I find this? What's the container? Well, it's encyclopediabritannica.com, so that's listed in italics. They had the date that it was published, July 28, 2016, so I listed that, and then listed the URL. And that's it. The only other information you could put is the access date, but since you have a publication date, you don't have to have that. Again, note that the first line is left justified, the second line is indented one line. There's no real reason for that except it can kind of make reading the text easier, but it's MLA style, so they should be formatted in that sort of way. That's most of what I wanted to cover with you all today. I wanted to make sure that you're using in-text citations whenever you paraphrase or quote someone. I want to make sure that you have a works cited page and that you're formatting your works cited properly. Please keep in mind that for future essays, if you quote someone or you take information from a source and you don't have an in-text citation, you'll get marked down for that. If you don't have a works cited page, you could potentially get a 0 for plagiarism, so make sure you have all that information. The other thing to keep in mind, for your next essay, the home history family essay, you might not have any sources at all. It doesn't require you to have sources because it's just about you. My essay has sources in it because I wanted to talk about the history of the place I'm from, but you don't necessarily have to do that. You don't need to go into details on the history of where you grew up. All you need to do is tell me how your identity was formed. That's mostly what I'm looking for. But in your future research essays, you're definitely going to have to cite sources. You're definitely going to have a works cited page. So keep all that information with you for those. If you guys have any questions about your icon essays or about writing the home, family, and identity essay, let me know. I'm going to post a little bit more about it next week. Keep in mind that it doesn't have to be like my essay. It can be a little bit different, and you're going to have until March 17th to work on it. So you should have plenty of time to do some pre-writing, figure out what you want to write about, do a draft, and do edits on all that. Okay, so that's it. Until next week.